So in this video, let's talk about motivation. Because I'm at the point where if you need to be scolded, if you need to be berated, if you need to be talked to a certain way to be stirred to action, then I'm beyond that. Because it's a matter of self-respect and a matter of self-esteem. At a certain point, the energy that we can deliver to you doesn't need to be packaged in calling you all types of absurdities and obscenities. Now, at any given point, because we have vibrant personalities and, a person like me, I grew up on South Park. I've been watching South Park since I was like fucking 5 or some shit. I don't have to be one of these Steve Urkel, Bill Nye, the motherfucking science guys as I sit here and edify the world. We've seen it plenty times over where it's either these motherfuckers are straight up squares or it's just straight up crude and crass. So the truth is, it's about being authentic and delivering and speaking in a frequency that is receptible to the people who need to receive it. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Most of you don't recognize that this is about self-mastery. And if you need somebody to be on your ass, to always be shouting at you, to always be telling you what to do, then you're not cultivating self-mastery. In fact, you're only cultivating being mastered by someone else. YWY, your world is yours. I don't want any of my students to ever feel like they need me at any given point. In fact, I'll say this, in any relationship that you find yourself in, never feel the need to be needed. You should be wanted, because in a need situation, it's conditional based on something third party, something tangential and tertiary to yourself or the person. It's conditional based relating. When you get to a point where you want to be around someone or you want to do things on your personal volition and on your own personal accord, where you're wanted instead of needed, then there's a level of sincerity and authenticity. So as we discuss evolving and being a better person, the wrapped up mind fuck that it was to even think that you should be cheerleading, and it's the same concept of why I don't condone personal training, one-to-one personal training. Yeah, sure, that's a massive industry, but really, at the level of intelligence that an individual needs to be at, and a level of efficiency and actual time economy, it's like, whoa. You need a babysitter to make sure you get to the gym and to count your reps for you, and you're not intelligent enough to figure this shit out? Granted, shouts out to Dallas DT Chi, determined to gain, one of my first trainers, if not my only trainer in life. Used to get me off the couch. I used to be smoking weed back to back, putting myself in a hypnagogic trance state and going on inward vision journeys. Everybody used to call me stuck. And I used to be on the couch. And then they just pass me the blunt, I'll take a hit, and I'll just drift off again, call me stuck. Yeah, it is what it is. This individual got me off the couch, got me working out. It's not that I didn't want to work out. It's like, all right, maybe you need to be taught how to not hurt yourself. But after a while, you don't want to create a relationship where you need a babysitter or you need somebody present or you need somebody to watch you to do what you ought to be doing in the first place. This is a translation into business mindset as well, whereby which, suppose, I say this to my students all the time, suppose you manage a cafe and you have, let's say, a barista, a cashier, and somebody making sandwiches and making food or some shit. Do you want to be the individual that when you're a manager, you walk away, everybody starts getting on their phone and everybody just starts loafing, and then when you get back, everybody's back to doing what they should be doing? See, this is the conditioning that we watch for. It's the individual who needs a supervisor, who needs a supervisor to do what they ought to do at the level that they ought to do it, which is that employee mindset. It's that slave mindset. See, YWY, your world is yours. We're cultivating self-masters, masters of self. I'm here as a channel and as a conduit. Whether or not you recognize it, I'm like the hood avatar. Yeah, I appear with gold teeth. Yeah, I speak with a certain vernacular and a certain level of colloquialisms. And I can be fucking Steve Urkel or Stefan Urkel. Homie, it don't matter what's behind these eyes and what occupies this vessel. That which animates this vessel, the soul, the spirit, the psyche that you are dealing with, is of a superior caliber to what most people can never ever recognize because they only live off of their organic eyes. They're not using their mental eyes. They're not listening with their third ear. They're not seeing with their third eye. They're not feeling with their heart and their intuition. Listen, if you need to be yelled at, if you need to be micromanaged, you're simply a waste of time. High-level people don't allow that shit. High-level people don't have time for that shit. And you get cut the fuck off. It's about being professional at the end of the day. See, before we talk about the money, we say sober, we say fit. This is about being a quality individual. An individual who has the capacity to mentally cope with their environment without having to lean on self-debilitating tools which are mentally compromising at the end of the day and which don't increase their efficacy. It just emotionally gets them through some turmoil, which shows that they're emotionally undisciplined and that they're emotionally volatile and that they don't have actual clarity and composure. They lack composure. These are the telltale signs of a low-quality individual. Sober. In the very least, a non-self-compromising person who is able to cope with their environment mentally and emotionally so that they can continue to produce and work effectively under pressure or whatever the fuck. I've never relapsed. Now next, we have the fit part. Most people think it's about muscles and looking good. The body is a reflection of the soul. This is a report card of you. So when you arrive physically, we already know how you've been conducting yourself mentally and how you've been conducting yourself physically because we take time. See, I'm an individual who's highly intellectual. And once you recognize that there are levels to bodies, this is the physical body, we have the mental and the emotional body, we have the spiritual and the auric body, there are layers to your aura. And when people like myself who operate in the crown and outside of it, I'm a disembodied spirit for most of my day because I operate in mind, but I have the ability to jump back into my mind, into my body, and jump my mind back into my body to be able to utilize it. I can tell you a lot of you are not physically prepared because you're living in a dissociated state. It's not simply about that, but it's simply about getting the mind, the will, and the body in line. And once you get your mind and your body syncopated and synchronized, you're no longer moving scattered. You now have the ability to move in unison. You're not moving in split dichotomies. You're not moving in separation. You're moving in unity and cohesion. Now, sober and fit. This is simply what it has to be. If you're not sober, if you're not fit, we can't work with you. Enlightened, enriched, we can blow that up. We could scale that. We can magnify that. We can take you to any level that you will or wish. But it has to start with being a quality individual, a master of self. Sober, fit, enlightened, and rich. You have to want to be it for yourself. There's no amount of scolding. There's no amount of berating. There's no amount of shame. We don't have time to waste with individuals who need that. We have only the energy, because it's not even a matter of wasting time anymore. We no longer have the energy to waste on considering individuals who need to be proverbially, figuratively whipped into being what they ought to be. Karma and the afflictions of the contradictions of your own actions against the laws of the universe should suffice enough for you to awaken to your criminality in the universe. I got tired of suffering the repercussions of my own inferior conduct. I no longer blamed society. I didn't blame people. I realized it was my choice to do the things or allow the things that I was doing or allowing that would create negative consequences. Con with sequences, with sequence. So, as life is a sequential order of events that are influenced by your choices, committed and omitted, it is in your responsibility to awaken to the fact that you need to make better choices for yourself by yourself. The highest level people show up and they're ready to operate in a way where they no longer want to be less. They don't have that drive in them. Anybody who needs to be conditioned and whipped and scolded, and you're just creating more slave mindset. You're just creating more worker mindset. You're not being a free, autonomous, self-directing being. So YWY, your world is yours. Always consider the vibrations raised, but this ascendancy, this program is designed and constructed for individuals who no longer need to be supervised. They need the answers. You get the answers, you get the blueprint, you execute the blueprint and run it at a high level. You would be fired. Consider yourself a boss in your own life. You're the boss and the worker. You're the CEO and the worker. Let's say the soul is the CEO and the body is the worker. The higher self is the CEO. God is the CEO. Higher self, CEO. And you, midway ego, little ego, personal ego, is the worker. Do you think you should remain on the job you've been failing for so long? You need to become a better, more effective worker. A better, more productive, effective worker. And when you realize the work ethic that is tied to the workout, this is not simply a reflection of a capacity for violence, because everybody's moving in fear. And if you always need to emphasize an increased capacity for violence or defense, you're playing defense mentally. It's because you're living in fear of particular outcomes. I'm not saying don't get ready, and I'm not saying don't stay ready. I'm saying focus on the intrinsic value and principles behind things that add to life in a way where it's non-conflicting and it's not in the destructive direction. Humans have that dual nature. We are creators and we're destroyers. But at the same time, most people only find value and seek esteem in fucking shit up. It's not in fucking shit up. It's in how much can you build. It doesn't take much to destroy a building, to demolish a building. But it takes time, dedication, and a high degree of mind, a high intellect and a high architectural mind to actually edify and build an edifice. The Templar of the soul, the Templar of the life. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So as you understand, this is not simply a reflection of grunt work and showing up daily. If you show up daily to the gym and you don't get the results that you know you should be getting, aka having a high definition physical appearance, then you have to understand that your work ethic is shit. When you pull up and you present yourself as a sloppy, unkept piece of shit, you have to understand that people are seeing your work ethic. So the workout is not about anything other than cultivating a superior work ethic. You've seen me work out through the snow. You've seen me work out through the rain. You've seen me work out all over the world. You've seen me wake up and I've never missed. You've seen me day after day, even with a broken hand, still in the gym, presenting and offering a superior soul, a superior colleague, a superior comrade to any peer group of humans, any productive, organized group of humans who are working towards a particular end. I'm a professional. You have to professionalize yourself. So bottom line is this: we're not dealing with anyone who needs motivation and needs to be yelled at, berated, and scolded. That's not me, homie. I got that shit in me, and I've been instructed to, I gotta show the contrast, but stick to your nature, homie, and I'm gonna stick to mine. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution only solution, self-mastery only success. We have to understand that the bottom line is being a professional soul who is capable and competent of producing high-level results, and day by day increasing the efficaciousness, the efficacy of their efforts towards producing results. Showing up every day and getting the same result or even less is the most disgusting thing and most abundant thing on this planet. Doing the same thing every day, same result, or even worse, what the fuck is that? Mental incompetence. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution only solution, self-mastery only success. I love everybody out there, but you need to respect yourself enough to get on a team full of people and hold yourself to a particular standard. I'll ask you this last question before we dip. Does everybody get into Harvard? No. Why? Because there are differing degrees of intelligence. Does everybody get into Harvard? No. Why? Because there are differing and varying degrees of displayed competence. Talent is ability displayed. Talent is displayed ability. Not potential, but actually displayed ability given a certain test, right? So you get tested on your capacities and your abilities. And if you don't meet a certain mark, you do not get accepted into certain places and spaces. This is life, separating by degrees of competence. So what you need to do is recognize that all people do not get accepted into Harvard. So you have to also recognize this means that certain people are of a certain pedigree of competence and others are not. If you were thrown into a Harvard classroom right now, do you think you would be able to ace the class? Would you be able to emerge as a product of the curriculum? And when you get on my program and you get on my curriculum, because I'm of a different stratosphere, it's not simply work out and eat this food and go be a monkey and accumulate shit. No, that shit is beneath us. That's automatic at this point. We need to catch you up to speed so that you can actually live at the higher frequency, because currently your state of being out of shape, your state of still missing, your state of needing a supervisor and not being a master of yourself, your state of ineffectiveness has you living through a perception level that you can't even see until you make it out. So once you get yourself to a higher frequency and get yourself to my frequency or approximated to it, then you'll be able to look back on your life and be like, damn, I really didn't know the way that I thought I knew. But now that I actually know, I can see the ways I didn't know. And that opens you up to being able to knowing that in the moment, you don't even know what you need to know the way you need to know it. But as long as you keep growing and actually producing concrete, non-arbitrary results, you will continue to aspire and evolve in this life. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution, only solution, self-mastery, only success. It's not simply about the body. It's about how well you can apply your mind to producing high quality, high pedigree results, corresponding results. You are a walking representation of the efficacy of your mind, a testament to not only your work ethic in the fact that you show up, but in the fact of the quality of the work you do. Watch everybody in any gym that you go to. If an individual shows up every day and does not get the result that shows that they have a high quality work ethic, it's not about how much effort you put into a thing. It's about intelligent effort. You get to a degree where you recognize it's not simply consistency, it's intelligence. Then you look at the quality of work that's being done. Quality of work being done, quality of result being done. Get on the program, get involved with the ascendancy. It's as simple as that. If you're okay with living on an inferior state of existence, that's your shit. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody gives a fuck. But when your game ends and you have to go out of this life knowing that you bypassed and chose to remain less, then you have to bear that guilt. We no longer want to do that. We're here for those with high self-esteem. We're here for those who want to achieve more, who want to be more, who don't simply want to have more and are looking for ways to have more without being more. I don't give a fuck about what I have at this point. You have it all. Those don't produce the feelings and the emotions you really want. What produces the emotions that you really want is the fact that you achieve and you prove yourself that you're able to achieve. So it's in the consistent, continual, perpetual, non-stop, everlasting achievement of higher, greater, more phenomenal things in all actuality. You don't have time. So come and get these answers. You get these answers, you apply them. Once you get on the program, trust, there are plenty of people who got on the program. You should just come and take their spot because they're fucking dumb. They get on the program, they pay for answers, but answers don't solve problems. People do. So you need to solve the problem by applying the answers in a high quality fashion. Doesn't help you to just have information. Information unapplied is double down poor intelligence. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution only solution, self-mastery only success. In a world full of talking heads, who do you feel is most qualified to even speak? If you don't got the physique, you ain't got the right to speak. Consider the vibrations raised.